Hi, I'm going to do something I don't do a lot of, which is actually a product review. I'm going to take a look at this Keithley 2110 meter. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, it's not, reviews is not something I particularly want to do a lot of. There's enough people doing them already. This is actually the Element 14 community. It's a review from that community, and they've sent me that meter. So declare right up front, they sent me that meter, and I get to keep it if I do a review on it. So. Now the reason why do I want to do a review on it? Well, I was quite interested to see, this is a new model that Keithley have just brought out, and it's positioned as reasonably well priced at sort of about 450 or 500 pounds, so it's about $500 or something like that. I'll double check that and make an exact note on the blog page. But I've got a Keithley meter here, which a 2015, which is really nicely built, and I was really curious to know how that stacks up with this. Now they are different; they're not a direct comparison. This is a 5.5-digit meter, and that one's a 6.5-digit meter. So this is going to be a two-part review. The first thing, I'm going to run it up, test it, just do some comparisons, and see how it works. See, just get a general feel for how well it works as a meter and what it's like to use. And then the second part, I'm going to actually tear it down, take it all apart, and see what's inside and see how it's built. And that's the bit I'm really interested in, is doing the tear down and seeing what the build quality looks like. So let's start with the review, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so what comes in the box then? First thing is it came with a nice, lovely chocolate brown cable. I'm not quite sure why it's chocolate brown, but there we go. US, of course. This was sent from. Element 14 or Newark over in North America. This came from. I'm not quite sure why it didn't come from the UK. I guess the program's run from there. Anyway, so it's a US power setting, and as a result, you'll see in a second when I get that part. They're actually this wasn't ready to use in the UK. In fact, I plugged it into the UK and blew the fuse, so I had to replace the fuse. But anyway, that's another story. A bit of a fail on the part of them, really, because they're sending it to the UK. They really ought to send a version that's pre-configured. Anyway, USB cable, nice pair of leads. We'll have a look at those in a second. What's this? A packing list. Now it's got a calibration certificate, so I don't know what that means. We'll be able to take a look at that. Got a spare fuse, which is handy, obviously, based on what I've just told you. There's also some software which we can take a look at as well. Inclusion list and safety conformance information. So obviously they're designing this to be used in a commercial environment. Okay, so obviously packed in a blue bag there. So the first thing that strikes me about it, not unlike a lot of modern equipment nowadays, is it's really light in comparison to this thing. You know, this thing weighs a small, I don't know how heavy that is. It's got to be 3.5 kilos, something like that. And so just put that back. And this one weighs about. Maybe just about a kilo or something like that, I guess. So I could get it on a weighing scale and weigh it. It feels solid. It just feels quite nice. So what we got on the back? Let's just have a quick look. Power in. You can see the voltage. So you can actually set the voltage. This was set to 120, I think. When I blew the fuse, and I had to reset it to 240, and that's just a case of removing this and turning a plastic thing around inside. It's got a 448 IE448 port on it, external trigger. Not sure what VM comp is. I'll have to have a look at that, and obviously a USB port. On the front, we've got. It's got four wire resistance capability, which we'll have a look at the various capabilities. These are classic Keithley fused banana sockets. Obviously, if you blow the current 10 amp and 2 amp current ranges, the fuses are directly in there. A whole bunch of buttons. They're rubber buttons, One thing that really sticks out is the display. It's really small. There's a lot of space there, and yeah, it's quite a small display. Anyway, let's power it up and see how it works. Actually, before we power it up, let's just have a quick look at the leads that come with it, because you know, these are an important part for any multimeter. They should be reasonable quality. And yeah, they're really nice. They're kind of soft rubberized leads, really flexible. Yeah, they're nicely insulated. They're actually nice leads then. Yep, feel really nice. So that's a good start. The leads are good at least. Okay, let me just move the camera and power this up, and then we'll come back. Okay then, so first power up. Okay, so bright LCD display. Now I'm not sure how well this shows up on camera, but you can see the LCD display. Actually, the viewing angle it's not bad, but I'm not sure. Looking at the monitor, I'm not sure it shows up, but in real life, the display is actually not that nice. It's so it's LED lit. Maybe I can point it out. It's LED lit, and you can see the bright spots where the LEDs are actually lighting the display. And I don't know. It's you know, you can see, if you look at the display here, you can see the persistence in the LCD, and that persistence of vision is actually a lot worse when you're looking at it directly. It seems a little bit better on camera. Not sure if I can. Anyway, yeah, not very nice. So for such a big meter, and you can see the space they've allocated for the display, yet they got this bezel and then a small LCD display. And interestingly enough, in the manual it refers to a VFD display, even though this is actually an LCD display. So that's a bit disappointing, if I'm honest. First glance, my first impression, you know, the build quality feels quite nice. It is light. When I power power it on, I don't know if you can see this. I tend to just hold on to it and hold on to this to, you know, because otherwise, you see, if you press the switch, even not putting very much pressure on it, the meter moves around. So you naturally tend to grab hold of that, and you know, pressing that, and this thing comes off really easily. And looking at it, the only thing that's holding that on there are these little lips just here under the back. Anyway, so it's a bit. So build quality feels quite nice, but it's no, not sure. I'll think about it as we go through the rest of it. Right, let's do some basic tests then and see what it's like. First thing is just see how fast it is on its measurements. I've got this. Get these on eBay for about $20, I think. $20 or £20, I can't remember. It's got a reference IC in there which is reasonable, and the guy that makes them sends them out, and he checks them against a given temperature, and then effectively calibrates them. Clearly not a traceable standard, but it's not bad. It's on all my meters, they all agree within about 100 microvolts, so it's good to 4 digits, I would say. Four decimal places. Anyway, it's a relative thing. So for anyone that wants to call me out, I'm not trying to calibrate this or verify that it's calibrated. All I'm doing is using it as a convenient source. I'm not a Cal Lab here, just in case anyone. So yeah, that's quick. That's fast readings, and you can see it's nice and stable there. Yeah, that's nice. I'll compare this. Let me just get the other meter out, the other Keithley, which I know is calibrated pretty well, and then we can see how they compare. Okay, so they're both hooked up to the, this is the Keithley 2015, they're both hooked up to the reference. So 2.4992, they both agree there. 2.49995, 7.4995. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, they're spot on. So that's kind of what you would expect from Keithley. Pretty accurate, at least low voltage DC measurements. Let's have a look at continuity and see how that works. It has got a continuity checker on it. That's always useful. Sorry, I'm in a bit of a mess here. Let's just sort that out. Continuity says, yeah, so that's you can see that it's reading resistance there before it's even checking. So it looks like the continuity checker is latched in software. It's actually pretty useless if you want to. Often if I'm tracing something on a board or trying to reverse engineer a board, you know, you hold one probe at one place and then you kind of drag the gently drag the second probe down a list of IC, either, you know, some IC pins or whatever. And no, that's pretty poor. So yeah, continuity, I'm afraid that's definitely a fail. Don't like that at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I want to see what happens. Let's just get this back into ohms range. I hope we don't blow the meter up. I want to see what happens if I just need to get myself a cable. Give me a second. Okay, so this thing is Cat 1 rated to 1000 volts, Cat 2 600 volts. So this should withstand. Let's just have a look at AC volts. Just make sure that you can measure something. There you go, 239.48, fluctuating a little bit. And I want to see what happens if I leave it on ohms and put it on ohms in this range with mains on it. Hopefully the meter doesn't explode. So here we go. Okay, just overload. Does it recover? Yeah, that's okay. Back into the mains. You can definitely hear a relay click in there. Back onto AC volts. Yep, okay, so that's good. It doesn't cause any problems there. Okay, so according to the manual, it can measure frequency up to about 300 kilohertz. So let's just have a quick look at that. Just verify it does that. I've just got it hooked up here to a signal generator here. You can see it's measuring 1 kilohertz. It's pretty fast. It settles very, very quickly. Let's take that right up to its upper limit. Be here all night if I do that. So 299 300. Let's just see where that stops. Well, it does an awful lot better than its specifications. 900k there. 1030. It's still working. No, it's just dropped out there. Let's have a look here. So if you look there, I've set it to 1.6 megahertz here. That's on sine wave, so it should be reasonably clean, and it's locked onto its divide by 2. Yes, it's reading half the frequency there. So 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Yeah. So actually, this does pretty well on frequency. It can read up to about 1.3 megahertz without an issue. Not particularly high resolution, of course. What's that? That's kilohertz. Down to 10 hertz, so 10 cycles, so not bad. And the other thing I was going to do, let's just take it at its maximum frequency and look at the amplitude. So that's 100 millivolts in, and it's reading that. And let's just see how it does. Where does it drop? Well, I can't go any lower than 50 millivolts here, and it's reading that no problem. Let's just take that up to, I think, uh, 10 volts peak to peak, the same. Okay, yep, frequency reading pretty good. Okay then, so a quick look on resistance. I'm just going to use this resistance box. You can see it's at 0.05% tolerance, or tolerance within these middle ranges here. So let's just have a look here at 10 ohms. So that's not so bad. This display again, it's really hard to see the decimal point, so you have to kind of look to see where you are. But that's reading 10.308. So take it up to 50 ohms. And 100 ohms. That might be out there. There you go, 100 ohms, 600 ohms, 1 kilo ohm, which is nice. 10k, oh, sorry, 1 kilo ohm up to 10k. Yeah, so what's that? 100k. Let's go here. Yeah, almost 100k. Can't quite get it up there. But where are we? 99. What's this? 0.05. 99.98. 10 ohms. Within 20 ohms, so it's well within tolerance, and it's fast. It's it's pretty quick. Let's just cross-check that. That's 1k. Let's put that in there. Yeah. 0.9998. 0.9999. So certainly within 1/10 of an ohm each. The 2 meters. So yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so there's resistance. Okay, on to capacitance. I don't have any precision reference caps, but I do have this ever so handy programmable, decade programmable capacitance board. So let's just have a quick look and dial up a couple of values and just see. So that's 1 microfarad. You can see it's reading what, 0.9783. I can't cross-check it against that because it doesn't measure capacitance. Let's have a look at 100N. 0.104. Nice. This board is 10%. I wouldn't expect it to be absolute precision here. Well, that's meant to be 10 nanofarads, that's reading 14. And you can see I've got some residual capacitance here. That's open circuit, and I'm reading 3 NF. I know the residual capacitance isn't that high, so I wonder why that's reading. Let's just have a look here. Maybe it is. Strange. Check that on another meter. Yeah. Remove the 4 1N jumpers that I had bridged across there. Yeah. So the residual. Let's have a look here. About 40 PF, which sounds about right. So get this 1 NF. 1N. So yeah, capacitance. I'm not sure what the upper range is. Let me just check the manual. Yeah, range is right up to 10 millifarads, so I don't really have capacitance that sort of size that I can check it. What's that, 100 microfarad capacitor there? There you go, 100 mic. Okay, so the capacitance reading, yep, the capacitance range seems to work quite nicely. Okay, yeah, temperature. It takes actually this actually can support a whole bunch of different thermocouple profiles. This is a type K, and it's reading there about 20. There you go, should be about 33 degrees. I would have thought. My body heat. Yeah, there you go. But on this meter, you've actually got a whole bunch of types. I'm not sure how to select them. Oh, there you go. So type J, type K, type R, type S, type T, type E, type N, type B, type C. A whole bunch of them. C, B. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, quite good that. This socket, the thermocouple that I've got, these are just a little bit big for that. Unfortunately, Keithley don't provide you a thermocouple. I mean, it's not like these things are particularly expensive. Seems a bit cheapskate to me not to, to provide this capability and then not provide the actual thermocouple. Of course, that'll be an option that you can buy, but it's yeah, it would have been better to provide that. It's just a bit cheapskate, I think, on there. But that's temperature. Okay, so one of the things this meter can do is it can measure two things at once, or at least display two things at once. So I'm just measuring the AC volts here, 235 volts AC, and it's also showing me the range. Now I can say, for example, I'm measuring the mains, and I also wanted to measure the frequency in this secondary display, and that's what Keithley refers to it in the user manual. It's quite useful. You can so press Shift and second here. And then scroll through to see what you want to measure. I'm going to go for frequency here, and I'll just press escape on that, I think. And there you can go. You can see it's measuring the frequency. Now, as soon as it does that, one thing that's really obvious is that once it's measuring two things, the sample rate slows down considerably. So it's obviously having to do two completely different things there, which is interesting. I would have thought with frequency and voltage, it might have not had an impact on that, because I guess the ADC. The ADC is probably being used to measure frequency as well. But it's quite a nice feature, that. I'm just going to try and set it up to measure two separate signals, because you can use the secondary inputs here, the sense inputs, to measure a second voltage. So let me just go and configure that and see if I can get that working. I don't know if you can hear that. I've just set it up to read both current and voltage, and you can hear the, well, I can certainly hear. Let me see if I can get the microphone over. You can hear a continuous clicking as it's switching between them, and it doesn't seem to do a very good job. So I think while it does dual readings and it can use the secondary input here, it's actually not very good, or it's either not very good or really difficult to use, or I'm not reading the manual properly. Anyway, so not something I'm using. I think the dual readings with voltage and frequency, or something that where you can read both off of the one input, I think is actually pretty good. But the dual reading, switching those relays, ticking over at that rate, just feels a bit crappy, really, to be honest with you. I just configured it to read current and voltage. You can see how it's configured here. So reading the voltage here and the current here, but it has to be across a common thing. So certain measurements have to be taken with the same common, whereas other measurements can actually be taken, like ratios or 4-wire sense. This is actually a separate input, but it is sort of limited in functionality. I'm not sure how useful. I guess that's quite nice. That is nice that you can set that up and read both current and voltage as long as you configure your circuit accordingly. It's quite a nice feature of that meter, I have to say. Just also having a look at the noise on the ADC, which is actually really very good. You know, I've got the input shorted out there. Just code that up so it's acting less like an antenna as possible. And you can see there that, you know, I'm sure if I haven't got a plug, but you can see there that it's absolutely quiet. And this is, although you can't, I'm not sure how clear it is on camera here, but this is millivolts. So this is 100 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 1 microvolt. So that's pretty good. Very, very quiet front end on that. Actually, that's, I think that's better than this one. Let me just lift the camera up a little bit. Do the same thing here. Yeah, so this is not nulling out at 0 here. This is minus 5 microvolts. So that might be a calibration issue on this maybe. Obviously there's one additional digit here. Just from a specs point of view, this is a 50,000 count meter, this 2110. Okay then, a quick run through some of the menus just to see how easy this is to use. I haven't read the manuals or anything, I've just been poking around with it a little bit. So the buttons here, selecting DC volts is easy, AC volts, normal resistance, frequency, continuity and temperature. Pretty easy, and they've put all the common ones across the top here. And then you've got DC current, AC current, so you just simply press shift, you get the shift symbol up here, and then whichever button you press. So now we're on amps DC, amps AC, 4 ohm, 4 wire resistance, capacitance we saw before, diode check. I've just done quick check with the diode check here. You will see that there's enough volts on the check to actually light an LED, as you can see there. Won't quite light a blue or light a blue LED, but actually it's really faint. I don't know if you can see that there. Really faint, but definitely lights it. So it's good for testing LEDs, which is good. Now some of the other menus. It's got an auto hold feature, which is really nice. So shift, auto hold. So all I need to do is just probe a voltage. And once it beeps, it holds there for you. You can take that. That's a really nice feature, because if you're often when you're measuring something, you don't want to be looking at the display while you're probing around in the circuit. You want to be very clear, get a clean probe or a clean connection on your circuit. And when you hear the meter beep, you can remove the probes and you can look at the reading. You've got a couple of seconds to do that. I'm sure that's configurable. So that's also hold, which is nice. There's you can set the digits here just by pressing that. So depending on the range, it will just reduce the number of digits. I'm not sure there's any particular advantage to that. It's got some math functions. So percent, average. You can null the measurements, so take the measurements from where you are, and you can set limits and an alarm, presumably. DMM calculations, which are nice. Escape. The menu system is quite easy to navigate around. You've got enter and escape, so anytime so if we go into config, for example, if you want to get out of there, just press escape. If you want to select the item, just press enter. Use the keys to navigate around. So here we'll set the sample rate to 10 power line cycles. Just press enter and it returns back, and now it's sampling at that rate. There's nothing else to it really. That's the yeah. It's very very easy to use. Doesn't take much messing about. The only exception to that is the dual readings, which are quite fiddly to set up and understand. The current inputs have fuses. I think you just press and turn 90 degrees. I think that's, and out they pop. There's the fuse, so really easy to change from the front panel. Not the best fuses. They're not explosion-proof fuses. They're simple glass fuses. So I suppose you could end up with a bit of a mess in there. But it looks like it's looking inside. It doesn't look like the internals of the meter are exposed. It's in a kind of a plastic. And this one is the 10 amp one. Ah, that's more like it. That's a blast-proof fuse there, you can see. Okay, so that's the review on the 2110. I haven't got into a great deal of depth and detail for a number of reasons. I'm going to now do a teardown of this, and we'll have a look inside. So that will be a second video. So I'll just follow up this video with another video, rather than do it all in the same take. Now there is, as I said before, this is part of the Element 14 community review, the road test program. And there is actually another review done on this meter, which was done by I believe it's a gentleman called Louis Goff. Louis, if I've pronounced your name wrong, I apologise. It's L-U-I, so it might be Lau, or I'm not sure. But he's done a really good written review, and what I'll do is in the blog article I'll put a link to that review as well, because that covers it. And he specifically has gone and tested the data logging capabilities of this meter, and also ran the software. And written about that. I haven't run the software that comes with this meter simply because I have a Mac, I don't have Windows, and it's only supported under Windows, as most of these things are. It's not a negative to this meter at all. It's just that's I find that with most equipment. And of course I could run it in an emulator, but mapping the USB ports it's just hard work, and it doesn't work. It takes a long time and all that good stuff. So I didn't bother doing that. And as I say, Louis done a pretty darn good job at doing that anyway. So anyway, I thought as an added bonus, I thought I'd while I was reviewing this meter, I did actually have some help. I'm not sure I needed the help, but anyway, I got the help regardless. So let me just show you that, and perhaps it'll break the video up a bit and give you something to smile about. Okay, this is a recent addition to our family, and they're driving me absolutely mad. So they wanted to come and say hello because we were doing a review.
Who is that?
Don't chew it. Don't chew it. There we go. Right, they have to go now. Say hello.
Hello.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Lift the doggy up. Lift the doggy up. There we go. There, show everyone what the doggies look like. Okay, so see you later.
See you later.
Well, there you go. I hope you like the puppies. We've been having a great deal of fun with them over the last few days. If you thought the review was useful, if you found it useful, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I am going to put some links in the accompanying blog page here, and I'll link back to Louis Goff's written review, because it's actually a really nice review as well. And okay, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.